All right, Raiders fans, buckle up because things are getting absolutely wild in Las Vegas, and I need you to understand the depth of what's going on with this team right now. From the moment we saw the latest matchup against the Cleveland Browns, it became painfully clear that this iteration of the Raiders is struggling on a level that feels almost surreal. We're not talking about minor mistakes or bad luck. This is a team that seems to be collapsing under its own weight, and it's leaving the entire fan base frustrated, furious, and frankly, questioning what it means to be a Raiders supporter in this moment. The sheer incompetence on display is staggering, and it's not just isolated to one area of the field. It's offensive struggles, defensive breakdowns, and special teams mishaps all rolled into a season-long pattern that has made every Sunday feel like a punishment. Watching the quarterback, Geno Smith, handle the situation only made things worse. The moment the video surfaced of him flipping off Raiders fans, it sent shockwaves through Raider Nation. This wasn't just a bad play or an unfortunate reaction in the heat of the moment. This was conduct detrimental to the team, plain and simple. A professional athlete at the highest level, representing one of the most storied franchises in NFL history, cannot treat the very fans who invest time, money, and passion into supporting this team with that level of disrespect. It's the kind of behavior that would have never flown under the leadership of Al Davis, and it exposes a deeper issue, a lack of accountability and leadership at the top of this organization. John Spicey, the general manager, has a responsibility here to step in and make decisions that align with the values of the Raiders. When your quarterback shows such blatant disrespect, it's not about how bad the game was or how frustrated a player might be. It's about the culture of the franchise and the message sent to everyone involved, from coaches to players to fans. The fact that this situation has been allowed to continue points to a failure in leadership that permeates through the coaching staff as well. Pete Carroll, Chip Kelly, Brennan Carroll, it seems the decisions being made are increasingly disconnected from the reality of the field. It's almost as if every game, every play call, and every personnel choice is designed to test the limits of patience for Raider Nation. Watching the team go through games where the offensive line allows multiple sacks without proper adjustments is baffling. Jordan Meredith, Will Putnam, DJ Glaze, these players are facing relentless pressure, and yet the coaching staff continues to make puzzling decisions that leave fans shaking their heads in disbelief. Caleb Rogers and Charles Grant, two rookies with potential, are barely getting the opportunity to step into meaningful situations, while veteran players are rotated in and out in ways that make little sense strategically. It's a recipe for confusion, frustration, and a fan base that feels completely ignored and unheard. The offensive strategies employed by Chip Kelly have been predictable at best and disastrous at worst. Running the same plays repeatedly on second down, failing to adapt to what the defense presents, and overlooking opportunities to bring fresh talent onto the field has turned games into exercises in futility. And then there's the defensive side, where lack of adjustments and poor communication leads to repeated breakdowns that opponents exploit effortlessly. The Raiders' identity, what it means to be a Raider, is being chipped away week after week, and it's painfully obvious to anyone watching closely. The arrogance and ignorance that seem to permeate decision-making at every level is almost staggering. Pete Carroll, as the head coach, carries the ultimate responsibility for the performance of the team, and yet his approach has left fans, analysts, and former players alike questioning whether the leadership in the organization is capable of making rational, effective decisions. The situation escalates further when we consider how the team handles accountability. When mistakes happen, when players falter, and when leadership falters, there appears to be no real system for correcting course. Geno Smith's repeated failures and lack of leadership are emblematic of the broader issues within the Raiders organization. The lack of discipline, the absence of clear communication, and the failure to make tough decisions are creating a snowball effect that has left this team in a tailspin. Fans who have devoted years of support to Raider Nation are left watching a team that appears rudderless, directionless, and increasingly irrelevant in a league where success requires precision, discipline, and a cohesive culture. The frustration is compounded by the knowledge that every week seems to bring another opportunity to rectify these problems, and yet the same mistakes are repeated with alarming consistency. The Browns game, like many others this season, showcased a complete lack of synergy between the coaching staff and players. It was as if the team was operating in silos, without a clear vision or strategic plan. Watching sacks accumulate, poor play calling persist, and critical errors go uncorrected, fans are left questioning whether the organization understands the fundamentals of building a winning team. It's not just the players who are underperforming. The coaching decisions themselves are contributing to the chaos. Pete Carroll's tenure with the Raiders has revealed gaps in judgment, decision-making, and overall team management. The choices being made in game after game suggest a disconnect between leadership and reality, leaving the fan base to endure a season that feels more like a cautionary tale than a competitive campaign. Every play, every decision, and every misstep compounds the frustration. The quarterback position, arguably the most pivotal on the field, has become a symbol of the team's dysfunction. Geno Smith's inability to lead, his mistakes, and now his public displays of disrespect towards fans highlight the depth of the problem. Accountability, discipline, and proper leadership have become foreign concepts in the current Raiders organization, and the consequences are evident in the losses, the declining morale, and the widespread frustration that permeates the fan base. This is a franchise struggling to reconcile its storied past with a present that feels chaotic, disorganized, and directionless. Fans who have stood by the Raiders through decades of highs and lows now find themselves confronted with a reality that feels intolerable. Each loss, each mismanagement, and each lapse in judgment from leadership adds to the narrative that this team is currently at its lowest point, performing at levels that would have been unthinkable just a few seasons ago. The Las Vegas Raiders, as they currently stand, represent a cautionary tale of what happens when talent is mismanaged, leadership fails to enforce accountability, and the culture of a historic franchise erodes under poor decision-making. The frustration, the anger, and the disillusionment of Raider Nation are not hyperbole. They are a direct response to weeks of repeated failures, poor judgment, and a lack of respect for the fans, the players, and the legacy of this organization. The repeated mistakes on the field, the lack of strategic adaptation, and the failure to correct systemic issues illustrate a team in crisis, a team that has lost its sense of direction and purpose. It's not just a losing season. It's a season that threatens the identity of the franchise itself. All right, Raiders fans, let's pick up where we left off because the situation in Las Vegas is only getting more intense, and the deeper you dig into this team, the more alarming the reality becomes. The frustration doesn't just come from losses. It comes from watching the same patterns repeat themselves week after week, a relentless cycle of disappointment that feels almost engineered to test the limits of patience. Watching Geno Smith struggle on the field has become a tragic highlight of the season. Every missed read, every errant throw, every decision that defies logic is a reminder that the leadership and accountability structures within this franchise are broken. The incident with Geno flipping off fans was the tipping point, a moment that crystallized the broader issues of respect, professionalism, and commitment. Fans invest time, energy, and money, believing in the team and expecting players to embody the pride and identity of Raider Nation. And instead, they were met with blatant disregard. This is not just a bad game. It's an organizational failure that affects every corner of the team. Pete Carroll's coaching, Chip Kelly's play calling, and the decisions made by the staff are not operating in isolation. They are part of a systemic issue where poor judgment and a lack of accountability cascade into every facet of performance. Watching the offensive line repeatedly fail to protect the quarterback while coaching decisions fail to adjust or innovate has been maddening. Players like Jordan Meredith, Will Putnam, DJ Glaze, and Caleb Rogers are left to navigate an inconsistent, often baffling system that prevents them from reaching their potential. The rookies, who should be given opportunities to develop and contribute, are sidelined in favor of illogical rotations that undermine team cohesion and create a sense of chaos on the field. Watching a game like the Browns matchup, where the offensive line collapses and sacks pile up, highlights the inability of the coaching staff to respond to evident issues. Caleb Rogers and Charles Grant, promising talents who could bring energy and skill to the position, are left waiting on the sidelines while questionable veterans continue to struggle in critical moments. The predictability of Chip Kelly's play calling compounds the problem. Running the same plays repeatedly, failing to adapt to defensive schemes, and ignoring opportunities for innovation has made the offense painfully one-dimensional. The fans, players, and analysts alike are left scratching their heads, asking how such basic tactical adjustments could be overlooked at this level of professional football. On the defensive side, the story is just as bleak. Miscommunication, missed assignments, and a lack of cohesion allow opposing teams to exploit weaknesses game after game. The Raiders' identity, once built on grit, resilience, and a fierce competitive spirit, now feels overshadowed by poor execution, questionable leadership, and an overarching sense of dysfunction. Pete Carroll's tenure has brought to light a lack of clarity in decision-making, leaving fans, players, and the wider football community questioning whether this organization can right itself without dramatic changes. The repeated failures, combined with public displays of frustration and disrespect, paint a picture of a franchise that has lost sight of its principles and values. Leadership, both on and off the field, is supposed to establish standards, enforce discipline, and guide the team toward consistent performance. Instead, what we see is a revolving door of poor decisions that frustrates players, confuses coaches, and alienates fans. The quarterback situation is emblematic of these challenges. Geno Smith's inability to lead effectively, combined with moments of public disrespect toward the fan base, underscores the urgent need for accountability and decisive action. Fans are not just disappointed. They feel betrayed, watching a team that fails to live up to its potential while leadership appears indifferent to the cascading consequences. The Raiders are at a crossroads, facing a reality where every week presents the same unproductive cycles, leaving the fan base to contend with a season that feels directionless. The offensive line issues, quarterback struggles, and predictable play calling converge to create an environment where losses are almost inevitable, and the team's legacy is at risk of being overshadowed by incompetence. Rookie opportunities are mishandled, veterans are mismanaged, and game plans fail to evolve, resulting in performances that consistently frustrate and disappoint. The Browns game highlighted the worst of these issues, exposing cracks in leadership, strategy, and player execution. Watching repeated failures on both sides of the ball raises critical questions about the direction and priorities of the coaching staff. The lack of corrective measures, coupled with poorer personnel decisions, has created a situation where players are forced to navigate inconsistent strategies and unclear expectations, eroding confidence and performance. Geno Smith's struggles are not just personal failures. They are emblematic of a broader systemic problem that spans coaching, management, and player development. Accountability at the top is non-negotiable, and when it is absent, the consequences ripple across the entire organization. Fans are left to witness a team that is not only losing games but also losing its identity, its culture, and its competitive spirit. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on our Las Vegas Raiders. And don't be shy. Drop your thoughts on the news in the comments below. The NFL rumor mill is buzzing as whispers suggest the Las Vegas Raiders have secured linebacker Rashaan Evans in a move that could shake up their defensive lineup. Sources close to the team indicate that Evans, known for his aggressive tackling and field awareness, could be the missing piece the Raiders have been searching for to bolster their linebacker core. While official confirmations are scarce, insiders hint that the team has been quietly negotiating with Evans for weeks, signaling a serious intent to upgrade their defensive schemes. Evans, who has showcased a knack for reading offenses and making critical stops, could bring a new level of intensity to the Raiders' front seven. Analysts speculate that his arrival might allow the team to experiment with more versatile defensive formations, potentially creating matchup nightmares for opposing quarterbacks. Raiders fans have been eager for reinforcements in the linebacker department, and the prospect of Evans joining the fold has sparked both excitement and speculation across social media platforms. While some insiders caution that nothing is finalized, the chatter around the league suggests that Evans' move to Las Vegas could be more than just a short-term fix. Teams in the AFC West are reportedly monitoring the situation closely, aware that Evans' presence could alter the balance of power within the division. Coaches are said to be recalibrating defensive strategies, imagining scenarios where Evans' speed and tackling acumen could turn pivotal moments in critical games. Meanwhile, pundits are dissecting the potential impact on the Raiders' locker room chemistry. Evans, often praised for his work ethic and leadership qualities, might provide more than just on-field contributions. The rumor has fans speculating about how his personality and experience could influence younger defenders, potentially shaping the next wave of Raiders' defensive talent. As the buzz continues to grow, the NFL community watches with keen interest. Will Rashaan Evans' addition finally give the Raiders the defensive edge they've been seeking? Or is this just another tantalizing whisper in the endless cycle of NFL speculation? Either way, the conversation is heating up, and for Raiders supporters, the mere possibility of Evans donning silver and black is enough to set imaginations running wild. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Las Vegas Raiders, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.